Greetings, everyone. Let me start out by saying this. As we stand right now, Jamaica is now presented as the worst place to be. And Jamaican people are now branded or labeled as the worst people. You see statistics showing other parts of the world that are most violent, and Jamaica happens to be at the very top. The truth is, this is not true. Now, let's examine some things and let's deal with the truth of some things, okay? So if Jamaica happens to be this horrible place, I mean, Palestine and Gaza has nothing on them these days based on the story that has been projected out here. And there are times when I am caught into it and I start looking at my country through, this view or through this lens that is tainted. But I got to roll it back this morning. I have to say, why? Whenever you hear things, you hear these negative things about anybody or any place, you have to say to yourself, who benefits from putting out that picture? Because as much as we see these irregularities, as much as you're seeing these irregularities and you're hearing these, disturbing things and you're seeing it, Jamaica is still a small island. And so the stories that are out here, and you can depend on us Jamaicans to put it out, because as soon as we hear about these disturbing things, we want to share it. So we put it out. They're not realizing what we're doing. We are part of really the destructive lens that we show the world in. Sometimes out of care, sometimes, out of excitement, because when people use the term excitement these days, they're not just talking about happy thing. It's like, oh, this is going to generate a lot of views. This is going to get a lot of persons talking. And so persons would automatically jump on that. And, I'm guilty of talking about these things because some of them we have to discuss, especially when it comes to issues related to women. But believe me, the violence towards women in Jamaica is not really worse there than anywhere else. It's just more highlighted because a lot of places, they don't air their dirty laundry. They don't show their stuff. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't be shown. So, we see this, and the question I say to myself, can Jamaica really be this horrific place? And you got people from around the world that are moving and making Jamaica home. And you got people in Jamaica that would never consider anywhere else as home. And one of the things I also want to talk about in this video is the picture that is put out there that Jamaica is a poor country. Jamaica is not a poor country. There are billions of dollars that get siphoned to Jamaica. Yes, siphoned from Jamaica to other places, but it's made there. The potential to make money in Jamaica is phenomenal. And the kind of money that comes through those doors or those windows is, I'm telling you, I don't have words to say. Now, the reason why I'm really doing this video is I'm thinking about, places where we send money to people, Western Union or all the different places where people go and collect money, MoneyGram, whatever, you name it. But Western Union is most famous. And Western Union has these policies in place because of scamming. People have, really destroyed people's lives around the world, through false means. And so whenever these things happen, you have to put in things in place to protect the citizens that are being scammed, especially when you know that some of these people that are being scammed are seniors, people who don't have the ability to even think straight anymore, and people are abusing that. But the money that comes in the island is just great. And people are there are flourishing, and people are there that are happy too. And of course, you got the persons who live in the inner city and those guys who live in communities that are impoverished. Of course, these ones who do anything to leave. And music being a vehicle would allow them to do that. Thank goodness for YouTube. A lot of these persons who would otherwise be unemployable because they don't have the skills or the education to get certain jobs, or they don't get the opportunity because of where they live, because of their address. Now, I'm just leading up to this to say, this is what I've been asking myself, and a lot of persons are going to be afraid to say it, but I'm going to say it. If I'm trying to send $50 to a senior citizen just to help with medication or just a doctor's trip, it's so difficult. Seniors are being blocked from getting $50 if that $50 is coming regularly. And I'm saying these systems are in place to really continue the struggle of people, so-called poor people, because none of you all are poor. Your conditions are, but they try to tell you that you're poor, and as such, once you keep that in your mind, you start to behave that way. None of you are poor. Your situations, your condition is not you. And these so-called poor people who have their families overseas would always remember to send them something just to help them get by, just for a meal. These folks go to Western Union and are being blocked. And I'm asking why? Because I see millions of dollars going to Jamaica. Persons openly confess that all these people, like a satellite, are able to go and collect money. This is not hidden. This is not some scamming. This is an open thing where the people tell you, and you see with your own eyes, millions of dollars counted from people who pick up money from Western Unions and the different Western Unions in the island, I guess. And you hear that eventually some of these ones get blocked, and that individuals go, they recruit new people to go and pick up. This is not hidden. This is clear, and nothing is done. Nobody questions this. Nobody says this can't happen. So why is the pensioner, why is a 90-year-old man who is hungry this morning, who needs a $50 just to go buy something to sustain him in this lockdown? Because right now I'm talking, and I'm vexed because I want someone to explain to me, why is the system? That's the biggest problem in Jamaica. There's a system, and it works differently for different people based on your socioeconomic situation or your class. Where you come from makes a difference in if you can go to Western Union and collect $50. Now, it's not always about, these rich people are able to get away with all these things, because poor people have figured ways how they can beat the system too. But I'm saying, who is going to say to Western Union, while you have these, rules, and you've got, these things in place to protect others, when are you going to say that a person who is getting $50 or $100 can in no way pose a threat to your security? When you see people who never work a day in their life lay down on their back and make children that they cannot afford, these ones got folks sending millions of dollars to them just to make more babies, just to be lazy, just to, abuse people's kindness or whatever. And this old man, I'm upset. I'm very upset, because this is the third time I'm having that situation where I would send a $50 or $100 to somebody and that person cannot collect. Explain to me, what is the story? So are you saying that the ones there are some people who have more power, and they're able to then excerpt whatever rules? The rule has to be the same for everybody. It must be consistent. And so you're seeing it even in this old crisis, period, where some persons are allowed to do whatever, and the other person who suffers the most, the ones who are suffering the most are the ones who have the tightest hold, the ones with the, so much monitoring of them. And you ask why people are so angry, why people are so violent, because the rules are not the same for everybody. Those who could use the rules, those who could benefit from some stranglehold, are not getting that. But the ones who suffer the most, are expected to be above and beyond, discipline. It's just not fair. So I don't want to hear anybody saying, Western Union is protecting people's rights and interests, when you see that it's not the same for everybody. Nobody collecting $50 or $100 should be blocked For what reason? Unless that person was involved in something sinister. I'm sure this 90-odd-year-old man was not involved in anything sinister. So I don't understand why he's not able to eat today, because he's blocked. It's insane. And I've spoken to many other persons, and it's like you're being blocked because of where you live, your address. It doesn't make any sense. Listen, you can't fool anybody. Jamaica is a beautiful full place, and they're not poor. They're keeping some people poor. The rules vary for different people. So if you know enough powerful people, then you're able to break all these rules. In fact, you're not really breaking the rules because they don't exist for you. It is just shameful. And, for those who are constantly struggling in Jamaica and, hoping for a means of escape, I do understand it. I get it. But the people have to learn to stand up and demand fairness. The people have to learn to confront these inequalities that exist there. You can't expect others to come and fix it for you. But the thing is, unity is always a problem in Black communities. And so one person cannot do it. Definitely those who are affected by it, or your families. This is where we come in overseas. You can put pressure and demand changes, because it's not right. It's not fair. We know there's no problem in getting money in Jamaica for some people. You could get billions and millions to dash away. And people who just want food just to sustain them for a day. My goodness. You're hearing that they can't collect. We got to do better. And we have to throw away the sauce that they're pouring on our food right here. Because, listen, we're not fooled. We have eyes. We can see. And we're tired of this unfairness as it relates to, people who you call poor people. None of you are poor. You're poor in your mind only. You need to start standing up and defending your rights, and start saying, collectively coming together and say, if this is a rule, it should go for everybody. And I shouldn't be forced to obey the rule because of where I live, or because of my address, or because of my background. We got to make changes, and we have to demand these changes. And when we see the issue, we have to call it out for what it really is, people. We have to stop being scared and being, afraid to tell people the truth. And this is the truth. What goes to the goose goes to the gander. Stay blessed, everybody.